What is up, my maniacs? I'm the Awesome Maniac, and I am starting a new series today. Now, you may have noticed that on my channel art, or banner, or whatever you call it, it's just happened to be a little lineup of all the Arrowverse characters, which doesn't seem to fit what I've been doing with my channel, does it? Not really. I mean, the first two videos I found on my channel are some Arrow flashbacks I tried to do before I got copyrighted. Other than that, it's just been other things like talking about movies, a lot of horror movie stuff. But, you know, if you don't know this about me, I'm a big fan of the Arrowverse, as you can tell by the shirt. Yes, I've watched all the shows, I've watched all the seasons, although I didn't start watching Arrow until season 3. And I regretted that when I went back and watched season 1 and 2, because I was just like, magnifico, especially with Deathstroke. But today I'm starting a new series that it's going to be a weekly thing leading up to the big event Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is the biggest crossover they've had. It's going to include all 5 shows: Supergirl, Flash, Legends, Arrow, and the new show Batwoman. Even though Arrow's going to be ending this season, breaks my heart still. But anyways, we're here to celebrate all of the Arrowverse, and this new series, I'm going to be calling it Road to Crisis. Cue that title card. Anyways, with this new series, I'm going to do rankings of everything from side villain characters to performances, or well, don't take my word on that one, but just ranking everything, seasons, shows, mid-season finales, shit like that. And starting with the first one, which I want to start it off good, I'm going to be ranking the main villains, or the big bads, from every single season of every Arrowverse show. Now, these picks don't represent the season in itself, or my overall placing of them, but of their season, how they were in the seasons that they were in. And there are 20 of them. There's 7 for Arrow, 5 for Flash, and 4 for Legends and Supergirl. Without further ado, let's start with number 20, Emiko Queen. Now, spoiler alert for those who haven't caught up on Arrow or have watched this most recent season, Emiko Queen is the half-sister of Oliver Queen. Surprise, surprise. Robert Queen, that man did some shit. But anyways, Emiko Queen was half-sister of Oliver. She became the main villain of season 7. It was kind of directionless there for a second. But the reason she just had a lot more potential than what they did with her. I didn't particularly like the actress. I don't think she brought very much to the table. But Emiko Queen, number 20. In 19th place is William DeVoe, aka The Thinker. Another really big disappointment for me. I liked season 4 of Flash altogether. It was kind of tonally jarring because they wanted to be as dark as they were in season 2 and 3, but also wanted to be lighthearted, even more so than they were in season 1. And just The Thinker, he wasn't there for a lot of it, you know, or the actor that played him, he only got to play him very few times, and I didn't really like his performance, but I thought he was fun enough, you know, to fit the season of the show, which wasn't really about him. It was about other things like Plastic Man and Barry chasing down the 12 new metas or whatever. Number 18, another recent addition, Grace Gibbons, aka Cicada. Now, I may have placed the first Cicada as my least favorite one if he didn't get taken over by Grace Gibbons Cicada for the second half, or actually for I think the last third of the season. I felt she was a more fun performance than the guy that brought it before. I really liked her more than the first one, but still, I just felt like the whole Cicada thing was just dragged on way too long. Number 17, Non from season 1 of Supergirl. I have him so low because he's just so forgettable. I mean, he was there, and he provided a decent enough challenge for Supergirl. Him and Astra, even though she was killed off. But that's all I gotta say about Non. Number 16 is Queen Rhea from season 2 of Supergirl. I kind of place her and Non in the same boat. They're both pretty forgettable. So I just liked Terry Hatcher's performance more than the guy that played Non. We're just moving on. It's number 15, Vandal Savage. Another disappointment, even though I like him more than a lot of people. I think he was better than people give him credit for. Don't get me wrong, I think Casper Crumb's performance was flat as all hell, but Season 1 of Legends was more about the Legends than it was Savage, and more about Rip Hunter's his hunt for Savage, but Vandal Savage was just disappointing and flat and all the things that people say, but I still like him more than Emiko Queen. Number 14 is from Legends of Tomorrow Season 4, Neron. Neron was just very forgettable, and the season wasn't about him. It was about the Legends just doing their whatever they do, time traveling, being into Bollywood music numbers, stuff like that. Going to Woodstock and watching unicorns be killed, all that stuff. Yeah, but Neron, he was just I don't know. I didn't like him. Number 13 is from Legends of Tomorrow Season 3, Malice. I did like Malice because he was a wholly original character in the show, and once again, the season wasn't mostly about him. It was mostly about the Legends just doing what they do, getting more and more ridiculous as the seasons went on. But Malice, I thought he was fun enough, even though he got killed by the God of War, Bebo. All hail Bebo. And that's all I gotta say about Malice. So moving on to number 12, which might not be in a popular opinion, but it's from Arrow Season 1, Malcolm Merlin, or The Dark Archer, or I believe that's what they called him. I like Malcolm Merlin as a main villain, maybe not, but as a side character and in the thorn of the side of the Team Arrow like he was in Season 4, I liked him. I like the guy that plays him. And the reason he's so low is just because there's so many that I think are better than him. But that's not taking away from him at all. I love Malcolm. Number 11, I believe the people overrate him way more than he should be. But I still like him more than Malcolm, was from Arrow Season 6, Ricardo Diaz. He wasn't even the main villain, I believe, until episode 14. And then, even then, he didn't get the screen time he should have got. At least he had the first 7 episodes of Season 7 of Arrow. But I like the actor. I like his raspy voice, and I just felt he was doing more for the show than Caden James was. Number 10, I place him higher than a lot of people do. From Arrow Season 4, Damien Dark. I absolutely love Neil McDonough, and I love his performance as Damien Dark. But he just felt way too powerful for Team Arrow and all of them. He didn't fit well into the show, but I liked how Oliver had to face his own darkness, and he had to overcome his magic, which I thought was compelling. And I just finished Arrow Season 4, or at least I was watching it with my friend Michael, aka Ginger Ninja, showing him the show. But moving on. Number 9, from Flash Season 3, Savitar. My biggest complaint with him is that they had his reveal way too late in the season. Not to mention, most people had figured it out by then, even though I was stupid and I couldn't figure that out. But Savitar, he looks like a low-budget Megatron, but the physical suit I thought actually looked better. And I liked Grant Gustin's performance as that version of Barry Allen, even though he looked like Anarchy from Season 4 of Arrow. Moving on to number 8, Arrow Season 3, Ra's al Ghul. A lot of people seem to be disappointed with Ra's al Ghul as he was in the season. I thought he was fine. I liked Matt Nable as the character, even though his physical performance wasn't all that great. I'm not placing any blame on Matt Nable. I mean, I know some older people can look fit and stuff, but it's a lot harder for some older people, so I'm not gonna shit on him for that. But moving on, number 7 I think is way overrated, is from Arrow Season 5, Prometheus. Now, don't get me wrong, I really liked Prometheus, but I just felt, he's not as great as people say, even though he's pretty fucking great. he's not like the god level villain that I believe is good for Arrow. Of course, Severin will think otherwise. I already know I'm going to get a dislike for this one. But I like the guy that played him. I like the costume, even though it was kind of hard to see the details because it was so dark. But I thought the mask was pretty cool. So, moving on. Number 6 from Legends of Tomorrow Season 2, The Legion of Doom. Now, all 3 villains, the Reverse Flash, Damien Dark, and Malcolm Merlin, they're all good on their own. Put them together, it's just like it's a pool of charisma that you just want to swim in and be around. Not to mention whenever they added Captain Cold later in the season, I felt everyone's personality bounced off each other perfectly. You had Malcolm's his unwillingness to commit fully. You had Reverse Flash with his delusions of grandeur, and you had Damien Dark. Who's Damien Dark? Like I said, I love Neil McDonough's performance as him. The Legends of Tomorrow Season 2, Legion of Doom, number 6. Getting into the top 5, number 5, Season 4 of Supergirl, Lex Luthor. I wish he would have been in the season more. I wish that his and Kara's rivalry would have been more fleshed out. But goddamn if John Cryer isn't an absolute gift to the Supergirl show as Lex Luthor. Still not my favorite performance of Lex Luthor. That's got to go for me to Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville. But I really liked his take on Lex Luthor. I liked his viciousness in his voice. Although I wish he would have shaved, but that's just a minor thing. He's still bald. He's not like Jesse Eisenberg. But number 5, Lex Luthor. Number 4, this was a really toss-up between Lex Luthor and this next one. Number 4 is from Season 3 of Supergirl, Reign. She beat the ever-living fuck out of Kara in that mid-season finale episode. And just for that, I gotta put her as number 4 because I really liked her costume design, even though the mask I felt showed way too much. But I mean, then again, why would you want to hide that pretty face? But the rest of her costume looked really good. I liked how she was just she was a dark take on Supergirl. And if I can remember, I believe her comic version is basically the Doomsday to Kara's Superman. So I feel like they looked at the first 2 seasons of Supergirl and decided, damn, our villains suck. We need to actually think about how we write them. And that's why we got Lex Luthor, we got Agent Liberty, and we got Reign. Reign was really good, and I'm going to move on. Top 3, all 3 of these villains are interchangeable for a lot of people. And honestly, it was really hard deciding between the top 3, who was 3, who was 2, who was 1. But number 3 is Reverse Flash. I know a lot of people, I mean a lot of people, put him as number 1. But I feel like the top 2 were better than him. And I know that may sound like blasphemy, but that's not saying I don't love his performance. I absolutely love any role that Tom Cavanagh has on The Flash. I like anything that had anything to do with Reverse Flash, like at the end of Season 5 of Flash, when he showed up and it was revealed that he was pulling all the strings and all that. But Jesus, this is really tough to do. But number 3 is Reverse Flash. Number 2. Now, number 1 and number 2 are interchangeable for me because they're both scary as fuck. Number 2 is going to be Deathstroke from Arrow Season 2. Season 2 of Arrow is probably my favorite season of the show. And I'll actually have a ranking of that on this Road to Crisis series. But number 2 is Deathstroke. Absolutely love Manu Bennett as Slade Wilson Deathstroke. I loved him in the villain, the fights that he had with Oliver, even after he got depowered in the season finale. His Mirror Crew soldiers, what he did to Roy, just how he was pulling the strings, his love for Shadow, as delusional as it made him, mixed with the Mirror Crew. All that can put you as number 2 on the list of main villains ranked on the Arrowverse. Which leaves us with number 1, which, if you haven't figured it out by now, is Hunter Zolomon, aka Zoom. This fucker is terrifying. I could say that and be done with it, but I gotta go into how they did the switcheroo with Teddy Sears playing Jay Garrick, but then they switched it to where he was actually Zoom the whole time. It was just another stab in the back of Team Arrow after Harrison Wells, aka Eobard Thawne, was revealed as Reverse Flash. Caitlyn had the hots for him. The way that he seemed to care about Barry, and then just boom, he's Zoom. And Zoom, Tony Todd's voice is, I don't know if they modified it or anything, but I would believe you if they said that they didn't. That's just Tony Todd's voice. All that mixed with his suit. I thought his suit was fucking badass. And just, I love the mask too. It looks like he's terrifying, okay? But that's going to do it for this one. Join me next week where I do another ranking on this Road to Crisis series. And I'll see you when the seasons start. Bye-bye.